All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dids in the Dugout. This is our Week 7 gambling show here, where we will go over the atrocities of last week that I put out there and the profits that both Hitch and Chad were able to put together a little bit. So,
Mm-hmm.
in my defense, when I tweeted out last week's show, I told everybody that listened to fade me and to follow y'all, and they were going to have a profitable weekend.
Yeah.
If they would have done that, then that would have been the case. Because
That's on them. You're blaming the viewer at this point, is what you're saying.
Well,
That's okay. You
I'm
are.
saying that I was right, and I
Okay.
think that's really all that's important here,
Okay.
right? I mean, I'm giving you the facts. What you do with it is on you. So,
All right.
and it's actually really frustrating because I had a weekend in the green, but the ones that I picked for this show were horrendous.
You should swap those out.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah, I definitely should have. So, but anyway, before we get into that, how are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. After a 4-1 weekend, I don't count those plus money plays. 4-1 weekend is always how the sun shines a little bit brighter when that happens, Derek. And 4-1 doesn't happen very often. I don't think you've had that, have you?
No, I have. It was actually week 2 coming off of my 0-5.
That's 5 weeks ago, man. All right, so
Yeah.
doing pretty well
also
over
my
here.
last winning week, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that's bad. So
It's
doing
bad.
pretty good.
It's not going good over here in Enfield. How about you, Hitch?
It's going great in Oxford. The shining of the bright sun has been on my face since week 1. So when I went 4-1, I've been here. So ready to go. Let's go.
Don't look in that rear view mirror because somebody's creeping up behind you fast right now.
Yeah, what them standings look like.
Yeah, so let's get into that. As Chad alluded to, I had a pretty rough week. I went 1, 4, and 1 when you count the plus money play. Ended up pushing Maryland plus 20, which pisses me off to no end. They had that thing covered the whole damn game. But that's irrelevant now. We'll just move on past that. And Hitch was 3 and 4 for minus 2.4 units. I was minus 3.3 on my 1, 4, and 1. Hitch 3 and 4 minus 2.4, and the comeback kid, Chad Flowers, 4 and 2 plus 2.4 units, and he is climbing up the standings now.
I sure am.
Yeah. Now sitting first is Hitch, 19 and 16. He's plus half the unit on the year. Chad, 15, 18, and 1. Only minus 2.87 units. Right. And this is the real doozy here, guys. I am 11, 22, and 1 for minus 11.75 units.
That's awful.
It's bad.
It's real bad. Yeah.
Real bad. But I'm going ahead and changing my strategy up this weekend. Okay, I'm go ahead and get ahead of this, get me a good weekend, because what ended up turning my weekend around last Saturday going into Sunday, Monday.
Let me guess. Can I guess? I want to guess.
All right, go.
The rhythm app.
That damn rhythm app.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is. I've built me a model that is hitting 62% on both the spread and the totals on the year since I've started tracking them all. I go down through there. They suggest anything with a 5 to a 25% edge. If it's over that, they say that it's against market so much that your model might be off. Well, I follow those anyway, and it looks like this one is still hitting. So I'm going for it, man. So, it's 62% on both spreads and totals. So I started following that after our show last Wednesday that we recorded, and it's been really profitable for me. Tuesday night ended up going 6-0-1 for plus 8.6 units. Then, so not too bad, right? So if you're looking to change things around a little bit, change your gambling karma, if you will, go download the Rhythm app, RITHMM. You can start a 14-day free trial, build your own models, and the game changer for me is when we got that premium package where you can do all of the really analytical stuff that's as far as building different factors besides the standard stuff they put on there. So it's well worth the money. You make your money back on it. So go download the Rhythm app, start a 14-day free trial, get the premium, and you'll be making your money back in no time if you just follow these models, because they are red hot for me right now. And I can go ahead and tell you, you're about to get 6 picks from me, including the plus money play, that is all suggested by this rhythm model that I built. So I'm going to ride it this week, and we'll see how it goes.
Let's do it. I'm excited, man. I'm ready to hear what you got.
All right. Let's do it. Well, you're not going to hear what I got first because we always start with.
That's right. That's right. We start with the comeback kid. So I'm going to – I don't do a lot of totals. I've got 2 this week. First one that I'm going to go with is San Jose State, New Mexico, over 57.5. I got that at – I Bleav it was 110, minus 110. So this game is going to feature the defenses that are 133rd and 129th in PPA. New Mexico's underlying offensive stats actually aren't too bad for what they look like on paper. 14th in offensive PPA, and San Jose State's top half of the country in both rushing and passing play PPA. I think that number is just a little low. It has risen. It opened at 52. It's at 57.5 now. So obviously I'm not getting the best number, but I still like the over at 57.5.
57.5. You said 110, right?
Yep.
You don't have much on San Jose State. What about you, Hitch?
They put up 28 against USC, but then again, everybody's putting up points against USC. So
that's not overly impressive, really. But. All right, what do you got, Hitch? What are you leading with?
All right. Iowa, Wisconsin, over 35.5.
Oh, God. 35.5.
Let's get this shit out of the way up top. Y'all both saw this number. Y'all both knew that I was going to be on it.
Yeah.
I almost bet it last night.
I think looking at Iowa's defense, they have a success rate of, I can't remember the number, but it's top 30 in the country.
Okay.
But they've only played one top team in that, success rate, like one offensive success rate in the top 30, which was Penn State.
Penn State, yep.
Wisconsin is 22nd, right? So I think Wisconsin probably going to be able to maybe put up some points there. And really, they had a opponent in common, Purdue. Both of those, Iowa versus Purdue was 34 points. Wisconsin versus Purdue was 55 points. Wisconsin is better than Purdue in my mind. And I read somewhere, I heard somebody say that Tanner Mordecai is playing out of his mind right now. I looked at it. That may be a stretch, but he's playing pretty well. And he's probably the best player on the field. And I'll take that. And Wisconsin, I don't know, 24-17 final.
Okay.
That would technically hit. I'll give it. Yeah, I did actually look at this last night. I almost put it in mine too, but I just can't bring myself to bet that Iowa over.
I get it. I can't bring myself to not bet it when it's 35.5.
I know. And how many times has it worked out for you? Have you hit one yet?
Well, it's only done one. I've only done it once. It's only been on there once. It was 36.
Okay, maybe it's only been on this show once. You bet it every damn week. All right, my first game, speaking of Purdue, they are at home against Ohio State this weekend, and I'm going to go over 49 on that one too. So we're all opening with totals here. My model gives this a 43.1% edge. Ohio State seemed to figure some things out a little bit last week, right, on offense. Kind of got it rolling a little bit. Me and Hitch, I know in particular, have talked about Card, that Purdue quarterback, way he can move around, create things, create a little bit of havoc. But Ohio State started to get rolling a little bit. Purdue's really struggled defensively. So when you mesh those two things together, I think Ohio State can, get to 35 points, up to 40, something like that. And Purdue, their lowest total of the year so far has been 14 at Iowa, which, is one of the best defenses in the country, which Ohio State's a really good one too. They don't give up a whole lot, but I feel like if Purdue can get to 14, this over hits fairly easily. So if they get 2 touchdowns, and I think they will, playing at home, especially if Ohio State comes out and starts blowing the doors off of them, gets a big lead, maybe get a couple garbage touchdowns, but 49 seems really, really low to me in this one. So I'm going to take over 49 Ohio State.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of rain that's going to happen on the East Coast this weekend. I know one game that I'm on is going to be affected. It'll be interesting to see if the wind gets going too, because it's supposed to rain in West Lafayette, if I'm not mistaken, this weekend. So, yeah, that'll be interesting.
Well, good news is they can't throw the ball, so it's not going to affect them.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. So my other total that I'm going to go with, we're Sun Belting. Georgia Southern, James Madison, under 58.5. There's going to be rain in Harrisonburg, but Georgia Southern throws the ball. They throw the ball 65% of the time. And let's be honest, their offense is really good. They probably beat Wisconsin, or at least come close. They had like 5 interceptions and a fumble lost in that game, put up a bunch of yards. But the Dukes, they're going to lean on their ground game, hopefully play a little keep away, take the air out of the ball. And on defense, the James Madison defense is good. Second in the country in creating havoc and first in havoc by defensive backs. So, with Georgia Southern liking to throw the ball as much as they do, I do expect some competitive play from the defensive backs of James Madison, breakups, maybe some picks. So give me the under 58.5 minus 110 between Georgia Southern and James Madison.
Yeah, this is another one I looked at. I was looking both spread and total on these. Mine had the under on it too, and then it suggested Georgia Southern, and I almost went with it. But kind of like you're talking about with James Madison, though, it's one of those things when you watch them play, they're really physical at the line.
They're real physical.
If you sit there and you beat them up for 4 quarters, it's just not something you see a whole lot in the Sun Belt. So I stayed away from it altogether, but the one I was looking at was the under in this one, so I did like it.
Nice. All right, I'm along with Rhythm, so that's good to know.
That's right.
For the first time in your life, you got Rhythm.
I found that offensive, so I don't appreciate that.
Second play, what is it?
Sounds so excited. Let's go to Tuscaloosa. Give me the Arkansas Razorbacks at plus 19.5. Look, I think that's too many points for this year's Alabama team. They should have, gotten beat last week by A&M, had all their chances in the world. 2 years ago, when KJ Jefferson went to Tuscaloosa, he had a big game. I think that they know what the game plan is to make Milroe beat you with his arm. And so I just 20 points is a lot.
It is a lot.
Give me Arkansas.
The thing, Arkansas, I don't know what they did to piss off the schedule makers.
Oh yeah, I know.
Man,
yeah.
They've had 4 games in a row against LSU, A&M, us, and Alabama.
Yeah, at LSU, A&M in Dallas.
Yeah.
In Oxford, and then in Tuscaloosa. That did a month's worth of games for Arkansas. They are just beat to hell right now, and quite frankly, I just wonder if Sam Pittman's going to be able to get his players to get up for this game after this straight. They've lost 4 straight now since they lost to BYU before the LSU game. Their season's kind of shot. I kind of like Alabama here to come in and just manhandle them and put them in the dirt. And there is potential with a number this high, of course, of a backdoor cover at the end. I think that's what you're going to end up having to get to cover a 19.5-point line.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same. Yeah, it's okay. I'm sure it's going to hit now that we're criticizing it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. That's one of your picks. Alabama's one of your picks. Chad,
no, they're
next, Chad.
Oh. All right, so my next pick, going North Texas and Temple, and another total here, under 70. This is such a big number here. 20.3% edge in the rhythm model. Look, it's 2 really bad defenses, which is a really bad start for an under, right? But North Texas defends the pass well enough, I think, to get some stops from Temple. Temple can't run the ball. They want to sit there and air it out on you over and over and over again. North Texas can create turnovers, and they've only given up 224 yards per game. So if they can hold Temple, around 250, 275, with a number like 70, if you get just a few stops in a game, there's just not going to be enough possessions with these good block runs to get all the way up to 70. So get a few stops, and this number should go. I'm thinking under by at least 10 points here. That's just so many points.
Yeah, I know North Texas. I know early in the season they were getting boat ran by like Cal and stuff like that. I don't know how it's been the last few weeks, but yeah, I mean 70 points is a lot of points.
Really better. Hadn't gotten just a whole lot better for the Mean Green down there, but
yeah, and Temple's not an offensive powerhouse.
Yeah, but just the running clock and everything, 70 points is just too much for me. So get a few stops and it should go under, I think. So I'm gonna ride with it, and that's definitely one I'm leaning on rhythm for to kind of
all right.
Consistent for me.
All right, so I got some bigger games coming up now. Those were the appetizers. So I like Notre Dame this weekend.
Okay.
-2.5, -115. It's a matter of when, not if, that USC loses because of that defense. It's bad. They should have lost to Arizona. If Arizona's coach it into chicken shit to go for 2 in overtime,
I mean,
obviously, I don't know. It was malpractice what he did. You're going to give the ball back to Caleb Williams and let him. It made zero sense, but I digress.
Have your best play, go out there and win or lose the game with your guys without Caleb Williams ever coming back on the field, and you live with the results from there.
100%. It made zero
Especially
sense.
against that defense, right?
Yes, 100%. I was stunned when I was watching it. Yeah. Now, Notre Dame got beat pretty handily by Louisville last week. Now, Louisville's playing really well. It was a home game for Louisville, night atmosphere. Notre Dame's in town. And Sam Hartman did not play well at all. Several interceptions. But I do think that this is a game that he's going to be able to bounce back. They should be able to put up points against this defense, 100th in the nation in PPA. The only thing that I am worried about is Notre Dame's schedule is brutal, right? They're just playing big game after big game after big game. I just think that that's because they're at home. I like the Irish. They're going to have to win one of these big games eventually this season. They lost to Ohio State. Now they've lost to, they beat Duke, they beat Duke. But I think that they're going to be able to beat USC at home at night. It should be an electric atmosphere.
Yeah, this is another one I looked at and kind of going back to what you said with Notre Dame's schedule. I mean, 4 straight weeks or 3 straight weeks after the Ohio State game, and then going to Duke. And was Louisville on the road, or was that Notre Dame?
Yeah, it was at
Louisville.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, and now you've got this one coming back home, another huge game for them. Those guys got to be emotionally spent. And look, man, Louisville just lined up and just beat the fire out of them.
Yeah, they did.
Physically, right?
Brahms got it going right now.
Yeah. I mean, they just showed up, punched them in the mouth. Again, I looked at this game more for the over, though. I didn't have a real good feel one way or another on it, spread-wise, but total, I looked at it, and I was really liking over on it, but it ended up not making my list. So, gun to my head, you told me to pick one way or another, I'd probably take Notre Dame just because they're at home and it's under.
All right, Hitch, what you got?
Going to Knoxville.
Oh.
The Tennessee Volunteers minus 3.5 points.
They're coming off the opposite side.
I figure we probably would be on most of the ones I looked at this week. Tennessee's coming off a bye week, while A&M is coming in off of a game that, I mean, I think A&M should have won the game. They had a lot of opportunities. So it could be a letdown spot, having to go into Knoxville. A&M's -4 turnover margin on the road. Tennessee is a +2. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but one of the biggest discrepancies that I saw is in the power numbers. And that means how many 2 or 3 yards, whatever, 3rd and 2 you don't get whatever. So that tells me that A&M struggles in the run game. If they have some 3rd and shorts, some 2nd and shorts, they may not get those. And then hopefully get some short yardage situation for Tennessee, and that offense can go to work and we get this cover, 3.5.
Well, since we're talking about this game, I'll go ahead and give mine. I have A&M +3.5 at -110. I wanted to take A&M on the money line, but because of the Alabama game this past weekend, I like that hook. I like that half point. I don't think Joe Milton can beat Texas A&M, right? Up front, A&M is third in the country in havoc, second in havoc in their front seven. They're going to be able to take away the run from Tennessee. I don't think Joe Milton is able to beat this Texas A&M defense. That was my main reason for taking the Aggies. I don't love the emotional angle of them coming off the Alabama game, but Tennessee hasn't played anybody. The team that they've lost to Florida, and we've seen Florida, their schedule has not been very strong. I think they're a little fraudulent. I wanted to take money line, but I'm really happy with the 3.5. That was my main reason.
Well, one more thing I forgot to say. I have written here in big letters, Jimbo Fisher sucks.
He does suck. He's terrible. He's terrible.
Yeah, I was actually about to point that out for you too, because I initially liked Texas A&M plus the 3.5 here. It was another one that I looked at, but then I started thinking about Jimbo Fisher in big games coming off that Alabama game, and that crowd in Knoxville is going to be absolutely nuts for that game when it finally comes off. So I couldn't get behind Jimbo Fisher, even though that's where I initially leaned. But it's basically all because of Jimbo, though. You look at the front for Texas A&M, that front seven, I think they're going to, or they at least have the potential to dominate this game and really rattle Joe Milton, who hasn't performed particularly well, especially when you get any kind of pressure on him. You can't throw with any sort of accuracy. But I still can't trust Jimbo Fisher in a spot like this, so I stayed away from it.
And the Vols have Alabama next week, so that's a huge rivalry game. Obviously, they've prepared for this. They had a bye, like Anthony said, but yeah, it should be I hope it's a close game. Hope it's within a field goal. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think it's definitely going to be the best SEC game of the week.
100 easily.
All right. We'll see. Chad skipped me. I'll go back and do my third one now. I think it's my favorite game of the entire weekend. I have no idea how it's going to lose. So it absolutely will. But Cal plus 13.5 at Utah. All right. This is a 45.6% edge on the rhythm model that I have. Cal is averaging 260 yards rushing a game. I mean, they just sit there and just pound you for 4 quarters and just really wear you down, which is really what Utah wants to do on the other end of it too, right? Utah, really good defense, obviously. I mean, that's the only thing that's kept them in game so far this year. Even that Oregon State game where they lost 21-7, they were still in it because of how well their defense played. So I don't think Cal's going to get up to 260 yards like they're averaging so far this year, but they're going to stick with it. And this is a defense that's forced 14 turnovers so far this year as well, Cal's defense. So if they can kind of rattle the Utah quarterback a little bit, who hasn't played particularly well, force a turnover or two, I just don't think Utah can score enough points to make up the difference of almost 2 touchdowns here against Cal, because they played really well so far this year, I feel like.
Yeah, they have. Wilcox has had them playing really well, much better than I thought they were going to be.
Outside of that Auburn game, that's like really their dud for the year, and outside of that, they've had things rolling a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and Utah's a really tough place to play too. I mean, it's one of the harder environments in the Pac-12. But again, offense just doesn't score enough to cover 2 touchdowns for me, so that's why I'm going with Cal.
With 13?
13.5. I gave my fourth. We'll skip me and go back to Anthony on this one.
Yeah, it's his turn.
All right. South Carolina's coming off a bye week. Florida's got to go to Georgia next week. All right, in a couple of weeks. I mean, it's 2 weeks, but you still have to go to Georgia.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, but yes.
South Carolina has an explosive offense, right? Like when they hit plays, they hit plays.
Bradford's been really good so far.
Florida can be susceptible to that a little. Florida's got a -2 turnover margin on the road. I think that what really convinced me on this one is the third downs. Florida is running at 19% conversion on the road. And South Carolina is on the other side converting at 50% at home. It's -2.5. It's under the field goal. And so I think South Carolina wins this game at home. So give me less than a field goal. I'll take South Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. If I was on one side or another, I think I'd take South Carolina because it's home. It's a tough place to play. And as Hitch pointed out there, Florida has really, really struggled on the road. That's where all their trouble has come so far this year. Napier needs to start winning some games, I think, though. I mean, I don't think he's endangered this year unless things really fall off a cliff. But you can't keep losing games at Florida and expect to keep getting more time.
The natives are already a little restless.
Yeah.
They're not happy.
Yeah. So big game for Billy Napier here. Maybe he can, step up and get him one on the road. So we'll see. All right. So I guess it's back to me already.
It is.
Chad went out of turn. I kept forgetting about that. All right. My fourth pick. I'm going to go with the Americans here. Give me the Army plus 4.5. All right.
I almost got on Troy. I didn't, but I almost did.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't because that would have lost. Army's plus 4.5, 10% edge here. This is going to be a grinded out type of game. Troy's defense is really, really good, guys. It is. And Army's going to sit there and test it with that triple option, and they're going to sit there and try to run it down their throats. Troy's only giving up 2.8 yards per carry, right? So that doesn't bode well for anybody like me that's betting on Army. It's a little different when you're going against the triple option, though.
It is.
Especially on the road with Army, a team that is so good at it and so proficient at it. So I think you'll see that rise up a little bit, and Troy's not overly explosive on offense either, right? So if you're going to give me 4.5 points with the home team, a competent team too, I was kind of surprised Army ended up losing that game against Boston College last week, but you see them constantly in games with our 5 schools, regardless of how good they are. So I think Troy's one of the better group of 5 teams. Not going to be shocked one bit if they end up winning it, but 4.5 points seems like too many on the road. So give me Army in a grinded out type game here.
Yeah, when I looked at it, if it was closer to 3, if it was 3-ish, I would have probably played Troy. But yeah, you're right. 4.5 was the main reason. I'm like, it's just too many points. It feels like because that's going to be a slog of a game. It feels like.
It is. That's one me and Hitch are going to have up on our phones while we're watching some baseball scrimmage Saturday.
So my last game is my favorite game of the weekend. It's the biggest game of the weekend. It's Washington, Oregon.
Where are you going?
Give me the home team, -3, -115. So, look, the offenses on paper, there's really not much you can point out in terms of flaws. They are dynamic, they're explosive, whatever other adjectives you want to throw towards it. My main reason for taking Washington is A, they're the home team. B, I think Oregon's defensive numbers are a little skewed because of their schedule. They haven't played anybody. The team that they did play that they almost lost to is Texas Tech in Lubbock. And if it wasn't for 4 turnovers,
as good of a win as it did earlier.
No. And Texas Tech had 4 turnovers. So more than likely, Oregon should have 1 loss, right? So I like the home team. I like Penix. He can sling it. And don't get me wrong, Bo Nix. It's Bo Nix, right?
Bo Nix,
It doesn't sound right, but yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's been great for Oregon. I'm just going off the home field advantage that Washington's going to have, and yeah, I think that Oregon's defense is not quite as good. You've played Stanford. Colorado's not who we thought that they were. Hawaii, yeah. Give me Washington. Give me the Huskies.
So speaking of Bo Nix. How pissed do you think Hugh Freeze is that Brian Harsin ran him off?
Yeah, did y'all look? Did anybody have a play on the LSU Auburn game?
No, I didn't.
I really wanted to get on LSU. I really wanted to get on LSU, but I didn't like that Auburn bye.
I know, I did too. I really wanted to get on the over, but and
look, if we're being honest, I'm probably going to end up on both LSU and over by the time Saturday comes around. But for this show, no, I'm not. But to your point about this game, Chad, this is probably the best game of the year so far. So
absolutely.
Literally, you put this at a true neutral site where there's no home field advantage one way or another. It comes out as a pick 'em, dead even,
Absolutely.
and they just go at it.
100%.
It's going to be so much fun. And there is my man Ronald Acuna with the double. Y'all have to excuse me. Come on, Bravos. All right. What you got, Hitch?
One thing I forgot to say about that Arkansas bet is also get on the over with that one as well, because the total on it is 46.
Yeah.
And with it being a 20-point line with 46, Arkansas's only got to get to 13, and both bets can't lose, right? There's a little hedge bet there. So I meant to say that. I forgot.
I don't think they can, but yeah.
Oh, we'll see. I don't know. The last one I've got is, going to the Pac-12 out there, the funnest conference this year. Give me Oregon State -3.5 against UCLA. I went into this looking at UCLA for the cover, and it was going that way. And then a big red number came out and punched me in the face. And UCLA is terrible once they get inside the 40, and really bad once they get to the red zone. That points per opportunity, they're 106th in the country. Scoring, Oregon State is 25th on defense. Oregon State's also 8th in the country offensively, PPO. And then the red zone, as a whole, UCLA this year is 13 for 20 in the red zone, 65%, 9 touchdowns, 4 field goals. If this turns into a red zone game where you're swapping touchdowns for field goals, Oregon State is a perfect 22 for 22 on the year in the red zone with 20 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Last thing, that running back for Oregon State, Damian Martinez, I've watched him play a couple times this year. Man, he is tough to tackle, tough to bring down. He's averaging 6.5 yards per carry over 90 carries this year. And so he's going to soften up that UCLA defense and then let, Ukulele go to work. I don't know, whatever his name is. But I like this one. Give me this one. Chad, I'm going to give you another chance to get back into it. Give me this one for 3 units.
Ooh.
This is my favorite one.
All right. What'd you get it at?
-3.5.
Again, I've gotten to where I love Pac-12 football this year. It's so much fun to watch, right? And Oregon State's kind of one of those teams that I've been drawn to all year long. They're one of my favorite teams in that conference to watch, just because I love the style of play. They sit there and they grind it out. They run the hell out of the ball, and they just beat the shit out of you on defense. I do like this play. It's in Corvallis, right? Did you say that?
Yeah.
It's in Corvallis. So really tough place to play up there too. So I do like that one. And all right, my turn now.
Yep, last play.
Right. Full disclosure, guys, got Braves game 3 going on over here. I'm a little distracted. Just went up 1-0. I missed a lot of what he was doing there, but I'm good now. So
Okay.
all right, 4th pick for me.
5th pick.
5th pick for me. Correct. See, thank you, Jay. That's why you're here. Keep it straight. So this was, according to my rhythm model, the best game of the week. So it had to come in here, right?
Okay.
Bowling Green +4 at Buffalo, -115.
Okay.
50.3% edge here. On the money line, it showed 101% edge on the money line because of the odds. So that gives you a little bit of peek of what's coming up in my plus money play. But I honestly don't know a whole lot about either one of these teams. If I'm being just dead honest with you, this is me following my model that has been profitable for me so far. So if they like Buffalo to win outright, and my model likes them to win outright by like 5 or 6 points, I think. So if you're going to give me 4, then I'll just go ahead and take it, -115, and I'll play it that way.
Yeah, I get it.
Sorry for not having a lot of stats to back it up, but I'm just blindly following on this one.
No, I got no issue with that.
Well, I appreciate
My
that.
my plus money play is pretty simple. Notre Dame Washington money line parlay for a unit. 192 plus 192 is what I'm getting that at.
Yeah, that's hard to argue with. He's going with the safe bet, man. He's coming up on your rear hitch. He's trying to pass you.
You know me. There ain't no safe play, especially when it comes to the plus money plays. Like, I'm swinging for it. Give me, if I'm only risking a unit or so, like, I'm trying to win. I'm trying to knock you out.
You're trying to win 100 if you're risking one, right?
Yeah. Having said that, let's go on back to Tuscaloosa and give me the Arkansas Razorbacks plus 790.
Oh,
okay. All right. So I don't feel I'm not worried about that one now.
Plus 790. You got it. For a whole unit?
Yes, sir.
They said 3 units.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And yours was one too, wasn't it, Chad?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. All right. I actually have bigger odds than you do, Hitch. So I'm taking a bigger swing than you are, which if I end up winning this parlay, I'm down 11.75 units. If I win this one, I break even.
All right.
I'm going with the Cowbears and Bowling Green money line for plus 1175 for a full unit. My model likes both of these teams to win outright. Even with Cal being a 13.5 point underdog, it still likes them to win outright and suggest the money line. I'm taking it, and I've kind of like I said just a minute ago, it has Bowling Green favored by 5 or 6 points, whatever it is. So I'm going ahead and parlay those two together. Cal and Bowling Green at plus 1175. And I'm putting a full unit on that. So once I hit that, that'll get me to break even, go 5-0 with my other picks, plus 5 units there, and I'm right back in the driver's seat. So
hey, you got a plan. You got a plan.
What could possibly go wrong, right? Yeah. There's
Well, do y'all like any games? We're recording this on Wednesday, so I won't include tonight's games. But Thursday or Friday, do y'all like any games?
Yeah, I tried Colorado Friday night.
Yeah, I
probably still will, just because it's Stanford. Yeah,
hey,
they're real bad. You know what? I meant to look at Tulane Memphis and I didn't.
I did look at that one and I couldn't find one way or another where I wanted to go with that one.
Memphis is one of those teams that gets me every time. Like, if I bet on them, they play terrible. If I bet against them, they play like world beaters.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I was showing the over in that one, but I couldn't find anything to back it up, make me bet it, or I haven't yet. Right, I'll get on that a little bit more tomorrow probably, but that was one of them. And if I'm not mistaken, I Bleav it had me taking the Memphis points too. Y'all have the spread in front of you?
Yeah, I do. It's 4.5.
4.5, yeah.
They're a dog, 4.5 dog.
Yeah, 4.5.
To Tulane. The A&M line's dropped to 3.
See that?
Okay, that's good.
I almost went with Maryland. I like Maryland against Burt.
Yeah,
but it just seems like every year. Once Maryland loses that first game, it just falls apart. And I was like, nope, not this year, Burt. You ain't gonna get me.
Yeah, almost had them.
I looked at Miami. I couldn't pull the trigger on it against North Carolina. After that,
I like North Carolina there.
Me too. No, I liked Miami. I looked real hard at Kansas. -3 at Oklahoma State.
I liked TCU too, but they're playing their backup quarterback, and he didn't play enough last week for me to get a good feel for it. He played in garbage time and played okay, but I I liked TCU as well. I may still play it, but I didn't lock that in.
If Washington State goes underneath a touchdown, I love that.
Yeah.
I like, but I don't know. That half point is killer.
Yeah. Cal's dropped to 11. Cal's dropped to 11.5.
Oh, see, I'm telling you, I'm onto something over here, guys.
You really are.
By the time Saturday rolls around, they're going to be favored.
Now the North Texas over has gone up, but
okay, well, so I didn't get the best number there.
it's only a half point, but
Okay.
yeah, that's should be another exciting weekend.
I think mine had it ending at like 62 points, something like that. So I'll still ride with 70. And look, again, I fully expect to lose the under 70 and the Cal plus 13.5.
The last one that we'll talk that I'll mention is I almost had Syracuse 17.5 against Florida State.
Yeah, see,
I almost had it.
I looked at it and I just couldn't pull the trigger because of how bad Syracuse looked last week.
They've been bad. They've been real bad.
They've been really bad, and Florida State's really playing for something. I mean, the crazy thing is you've got Florida State, Louisville, and North Carolina all undefeated in the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
None of them play each other this year.
Oh, wow.
So two of them will meet in the conference championship if all three are undefeated, and one gets left out of the conference championship with an undefeated season.
So did they get rid of divisions? Yeah, I guess they got rid of divisions. Yeah.
How dumb is that?
That's wild, actually.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? That's what's going to happen in the SEC.
Yeah.
Year after year.
And the Big Ten, yeah.
Yeah. Shoot, I just thought of another one that I was looking at, or that I thought about, but it won't come back to me, so it must not have been important.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate y'all coming back on here, doing this every week with us, and for all of you guys listening, I actually feel good about my picks. So you maybe take the week off. Don't tell me this week. See how this one goes. If this one goes well enough, I'm going to replicate it again next week and start telling me again next week. But Chad and Hitch, obviously, nothing but winners over there, so I appreciate them coming on and kind of keeping this ship above water for me right now. So,
yeah, we're trying to add a little, respect to this show. Oh, the Phillies hit a home run, by the way. Nick Castellanos.
Okay, whatever.
So
who died?
Yeah, I know.
Somebody died. You know that.
Yep.
But,
hopefully
all right, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Maybe check in later on Sunday, Monday, something like that. I think me and Hitch are going to try to get together and do a show about the fall scrimmage we're going to watch Saturday. Kind of report back to y'all guys on that, what we're seeing on the diamond there in Oxford. So that's going to be a lot of fun getting out there. Finally get to see a little baseball on our off week. But anyway, y'all have a good week. Good luck with all your picks. If you have a sure enough winner, drop it in the comments down here, and we'll consider it for Saturday when it comes around. And if it hits, maybe we'll give you a shout out. And if it doesn't, then just don't talk again. So,
and big thanks to the Rhythm app as well.
Yes, absolutely. Rhythm. That's literally my entire list this week. So hopefully that'll get me back on track. So guys, I appreciate y'all stopping by again. We'll talk to y'all again next week.
See you guys.
Bye.